There's a fence post laying in the bed of my truck right now. It came out of the north line yesterday morning. I didn't dig it out. I pushed it over with one hand, and it broke off about 2 inches under the dirt, clean, like a carrot. The part that broke is the color of a paper sack, and it crumbles between your fingers. Smells like a mushroom, and a wet cardboard box had a disagreement. But here's the thing I want you to hold on to. The bottom 30 inches of that post, the part that was deepest in the ground, the part you'd swear was worst off, is solid, sound wood. I hit it with a hammer and it rang. And the 4 feet above the ground is fine too. Gray on the outside, hard all the way through. The post didn't rot. 8 inches of it rotted. The rest of it is still a perfectly good post, and I set it in the summer of 2009. My name is Hollis Ward. I'm 63. 40 acres of chert and red clay in the Missouri Ozarks. Same place since 1979. I've set, pulled, and cussed it somewhere north of 900 fence posts on this place and on other people's. And for about 20 years of that, I was doing it wrong, in a way that cost me money every single time. Before I go further, I'll tell you what this video is not. It is not me telling you concrete is evil. Corner posts and gate posts still get concrete on this farm, and I'll explain exactly why about 2/3 of the way through. It's not a promise that gravel fixes a cheap post. It does not. And I'll show you the tag that actually decides that. And if you're on loose sand, or you're in a spot where the hole fills with water and stays full, what I'm about to describe will not help you and may hurt you. I'll cover that too. Stay to the end. You'll know which number to look for at the quarry, which number to look for on the post, what each one costs, and how to do one post this Saturday to see it work before you commit to 40. Go look at your own fence line, not the whole thing, just the posts. Find one that's leaning and grab it up high and rock it. If the top moves 3 inches and the ground doesn't move at all, that post is already gone at the bottom. It's a broken bone in a sleeve of paint. Now take a screwdriver, a long one, not the little stubby out of the junk drawer, and push the tip into the wood right where the post meets the dirt. Not hard, just steady pressure, the way you'd test a baked potato. On a healthy post, that screwdriver goes in about the thickness of a fingernail and stops. On a dying one, it goes in 1/4 inch, and then 1/2, and then it's 1 inch deep, and you're pulling out wet crumbs the color of coffee grounds. Now scrape the dirt away and push the screwdriver in 8 inches lower. Solid, every time. I've done this test on maybe 200 posts, and I have almost never found one that was worse at the bottom than at the top of the dirt. That's the whole video, really. Your posts are not failing. A band of your posts about 6 inches tall is failing, and it's taking the other 5.5 feet down with it. Here's why, and it's the part that changed how I set every post since. Rot isn't a thing that happens to wood. Rot is something that eats wood. Decay fungi. And like anything else alive, they need 3 things at once: water, air, and food. Grant Kirker, a research forest products technologist at the USDA Forest Products Laboratory in Madison, Wisconsin, put it about as plain as it can be put. Posts rot at ground level because that's where all 3 of those things exist together. The soil brings the moisture, the atmosphere brings the oxygen, and the post is the dinner. Now think about the 2 ends of that post. Down at the tip, 3 feet under, there's plenty of water and plenty of fungus, but there's very little oxygen. The chain is broken. Decay crawls instead of runs. Up above the ground, there's all the oxygen in Missouri and all the fungus you could want, but the sun and the wind take the water back out of that wood every few days. Chain broken again. But right at the dirt line, at the collar, in a band about 6 inches tall, every link holds. Water from below, air from above, wood in the middle. Men who study wood call that the critical zone. I call it the throat, because that's where the post gets cut. And this is where you have to change how you think about the job. You are not trying to protect a post. You are trying to break one link in a chain, in a band 6 inches tall for 30 years. Water is the only link you can actually reach. So here's the standard fix, and I did it for 2 decades. Bag of concrete. Dig your hole, drop the post in, dump the mix in dry, pour a jug of water on top, brush your hands off, and go home. The post is rock solid. It feels like the most permanent thing you've ever built, and for about 4 years it is. Here's what's happening down in there that you can't see. Concrete does not seal to wood. It cures around the post, and then the post does what wood always does. It takes on water in the spring, gives it up in August, and moves. A little every year. And after a few seasons of that, there's a hairline gap between the post and the concrete, all the way around. Like the gap between a cup and a coaster. Every rain that hits your fence line runs down that post, hits the top of that concrete collar, and goes straight into that gap. And it stops there, because you have poured a bathtub around your post, and you built it with the drain at the top. That water sits in a 6-inch band. Air on top of it, wood all around it, fungus already in the soil. You have not protected the throat. You've built a trough for it. Now look at the top of one of those collars on your own place. Most of them are flat or dished a little toward the post, because that's how it settles when you pour it and walk off. Every one of those is a shallow bowl pointed at the exact 6 inches you needed to keep dry. If you take nothing else from this video, concrete isn't the problem. Concrete finished flat is the problem. So let's talk about the 1/2 inch. Go to any quarry or any yard that sells rock, and you'll see a sign in front of every pile with a number on it. That number is the size of the stone. And 2 of those piles look almost identical to a man standing there in his boots, and they behave nothing alike in the ground. The one you want is 1/2 inch clean, crushed stone. 2 words matter there. Crushed means it was broken by a machine, so every piece has sharp corners and flat faces. Those faces catch on each other. Tamp them and they lock, and they stay locked. Round rock, pea gravel, river rock, the pretty stuff, has no corners. Those stones roll past each other under load forever, pretty in a flower bed, useless holding a post. Clean means the fines were washed out. Fines are the rock dust and grit left over from crushing. If you leave them in, they pack into the spaces between stones and turn your drainage into a paste. And here's the number that matters. Clean, washed, angular stone holds somewhere around 30 to 40% open space between the rocks, and it keeps holding it. That's not empty. That's the path the water takes. The same material with fines left in, crusher run, road base, whatever your yard calls it, falls under 10% void space once it's compacted. Same rock, same pile of stone by weight. One of them moves water, and one of them holds it. You are not putting rock in that hole to hold the post up. The dirt does that. You are putting rock in there to give the water somewhere to be that isn't inside your post. If you've got a fence line on your place where you can point at the year you set it and tell me how those posts are doing now, what you set them in, what wood they were, what your soil is, put it in the comments. I want the honest numbers, the failures too. I've got 1 farm's worth of experience, and that's not enough to be certain about anything. Now, here's the part where I'm supposed to tell you somebody's been hiding this from you. They haven't. It's worse than that. It's sitting on the shelf in plain sight with a price on it. Walk into any big box store and find the rack of treated posts. They'll all look the same. Same green tint, same stamp, same word on the sign. Treated. Now find the little plastic tag stapled to the end of one. Most people have never read one in their lives. That tag tells you the use category. UC3B means above ground. That post is rated for rails and pickets and anything that never touches dirt. UC4A means general ground contact. UC4B means heavy or wet ground contact, and it holds a good bit more preservative. The published retention figures run around 0.4 of a pound per cubic foot for UC4B against roughly 1/5 of a pound for UC4A. Published life expectancy tells the same story. UC4A in decent draining soil, 20 to 25 years. UC4B in the wet stuff, 30 and up. And every year people carry home above-ground rated lumber, put it in a hole, and wonder why it's gone in 6 seasons. Nobody lied to them. The information was stapled to the end of the board in 8-point type, and the man in the apron was never trained to mention it. Meanwhile, the bag of concrete is $4 to $8 and has a picture of a fence post printed right on the front of it. That's the whole business. There's no villain. There's a default. The default is wrong. The default is cheap, and it's stacked at the end of the aisle where you can't miss it. You are not fighting a conspiracy. You are fighting the path of least resistance, and that's a harder thing to beat, because it doesn't have anybody in it who could change his mind. Now let me give you some numbers that have nothing to do with anything you can buy. Virginia Cooperative Extension publishes a table of how long untreated posts last in the ground by species, and it's a humbling piece of paper. Black locust, 20 to 25 years. Osage orange, hedge, if you grew up around here, 20 to 25. Eastern red cedar, 15 to 20. Untreated southern pine, 3 to 7. Red oak, about 5. Read that last part again. A red oak post is a fine, hard, heavy piece of wood, and it'll be mush before your truck payment is done. And the USDA Forest Service ran post plots down at Stoneville, Mississippi, publishing on hardwood post service back in 1962, on posts that had been sitting in dirt for years before anybody wrote it up. That work is 60-some years old, and it's still true, because dirt hasn't changed. There's hedge posts on the corner of this county that were cut before the Second World War, and they're still holding wire. Nobody put a preservative on them. Nobody set them in anything but the dirt that came out of the hole. The wood was just that good, and there isn't much of it left, and that's why we're standing here talking about a bag of rock instead. So here's what to buy, and what it runs. Half-inch clean crushed stone. If you go to a quarry with a truck and buy it by weight, you're at maybe $40 to $60 a ton, and a ton does a lot of posts. If you buy it in bags at the hardware store, figure $6 to $8 a bag, and one bag does one post with some left over. Posts. Ground contact rated UC4A at minimum, and read the tag with your own eyes. Around here, a 4x4 treated post runs about $15 to $25, depending on length and depending on the month. UC4B costs you roughly 20 to 30% more than UC4A, and it is the best 20% you will ever spend on a fence. Concrete, for corners and gates only. $4 to $8 a bag, 2 bags a post. A bag of dry preservative or a can of copper naphthenate for cut ends, $15 to $25, and it lasts for years of fencing. One post, done right, in rock. Call it $25 to $35 all in, and about an hour of your morning. Now the order. And the order is the whole thing. Dig deeper than the post needs. If the post needs to go 36 inches, dig 42. That extra 6 inches is not for the post, it's for the rock. Put 4 to 6 inches of half-inch clean crushed stone in the bottom and tamp it. Now the end grain of your post, and end grain is a bundle of drinking straws standing on end. That's why the cut end of a board soaks up water like a paper towel corner in a puddle, is sitting on stone with air in it instead of on mud. Set the post, plumb it, brace it so it stays that way, because you're about to be busy. Backfill with the same stone, but not all at once. 6 inches, tamp it hard. 6 inches, tamp it hard. If you dump the whole bag in and give it 2 pokes with a shovel handle, you have a loose pile of rock and a post that will lean by Christmas. The tamping is what makes the stone lock. Stop the rock about 4 inches below grade. Cap the last 4 inches with dirt, mound it up against the post, and sloping away in every direction, so surface water runs off instead of down into your rock column. And treat every cut end. Every time you cut a post to length, you have just sawed through the treated shell and exposed raw wood that no chemical ever reached. Brush copper naphthenate on it, both ends. Let it dry before you set it. Here are the ways people do all that and still lose the post. Round rock instead of crushed, it never locks. Post leans. Rock with the fines still in it. It packs into paste. You've made a mud plug. No tamping. Loose stone is not a set post. Rock running all the way up to grade. Now every rain runs straight down the column into the ground around your post. Above ground rated wood in the hole. Nothing you do in the dirt saves it. Cut ends left raw. That's a doorway. And the big one, the one that trips up men who watched a video and did half of what it said. If your soil is tight clay with no place for water to go, a hole full of clean rock is not a drain. It is a well. Water finds it, runs into it, and has nowhere to leave. And now your post is standing in a rock-lined bucket of water year-round, which is worse than the mud you started with. Test for it. Dig your hole. Pour 5 gallons of water in it. Come back in 1 hour. If it's gone, you're fine. Set your posts in rock and don't think about it again. If there's still standing water in that hole an hour later, rock alone will not save you. You need to run the fence line where it drains, or raise the line, or accept concrete crowned high and steep, and plan on replacing posts. And gates. and corners. A line post holds wire that pulls straight sideways, and rock handles that fine. A gate post is a lever with 140 pounds of steel hanging 3 feet off center, swinging, every day, for 20 years. That's a different job. Corners and gate posts get concrete on this place, and I crown that concrete a good 2 inches above grade, sloped away hard on all sides, troweled smooth so water runs off it like a hat brim. Concrete crowned is a roof. Concrete flat is a bathtub. Same bag. Here's your one thing. Do not redo your fence. Do one post. This Saturday, take that long screwdriver and walk your line until you find the worst post you own. The one that gives up a 1/4 inch of crumbs at the dirt line. Mark it. Then go get 1 bag of 1/2 inch clean crushed stone, $6 to $8, and 1 ground contact post with a tag on it that says UC4A or UC4B. Read the tag in the store. If the rack has no tags, buy somewhere else. Pull the old post. Dig 6 inches deeper than you think. 4 inches of rock in the bottom, tamped. Post in, plumb. Rock in 6-inch lifts, tamped, stopping 4 inches short. Dirt mounded and sloped away. Copper naphthenate on both cut ends. 90 minutes, start to finish, including the drive. Then next spring and the spring after that, put the screwdriver in that one post and in the 2 beside it that you set the old way. You'll have your own data on your own dirt, and you won't need me or anybody else to tell you what to do with the other 39. Next week, I'm going to show you the H-brace at your corner. 2 posts and a piece of wire, and the reason nearly every corner in this county leans in about the same direction after 8 years. Most people build it backwards, and it costs them the whole fence. I've got the good post from yesterday leaned up against the shed. 4 foot of solid wood off the top of a post that failed, and 30 inches of solid wood off the bottom, and 8 inches in between that a fungus ate for lunch. That post gave me 16 years. It should have given me 30. And the difference was $6 of rock and knowing which 6 inches to worry about. Go find your worst post. Do that one.